what I've learned is I won, I've been criticized, and I lost, I've been criticized. And at the end of the day, this is our job. Yeah. At the end of the day, people's gonna talk all the time.
I'm not laughing at your pain.
Yeah.
I get it though.
Because at the end of the day, people's gonna talk. So you have to be strong enough to stay focused on your task and also to embrace adversity, because this is the way it is.
This is New Ground with Alan Hopkins Jr. Let's go. And Jaleel Anibaba.
Joining us this week to cover New Ground, and I cannot think of a better person to close the curtain on the 2024 Major League Soccer season than the 2024 MLS Sigi Schmid Coach of the Year, the head man for the Columbus Crew, Coach Wilfried Nancy. Coach, thank you so much for joining us on New Ground. How you doing this time?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here with you and to spend a bit of time with you, but everything is good. Thanks.
You know, Coach, you mentioned being in the moment. It takes me back to when we connected last in phase 2 of preseason in Santa Barbara. And it was very clear that you're someone who makes the most of each day and takes care of each moment. So how do you balance being in the moment when you reflect back at the 2024 season and taking away those key lessons that you now can apply and make sure that's part of your approach for 2025?
It's going to sound cliche, but this is the way it is, and this is the way I think. We learn every time, so I can learn about the behavior of someone on the road. I can learn about someone working. I can learn about my job. So what I've learned this year is how to manage 50 games during a season. And for myself and my staff, and also for my wife and my kids, it was challenging. Because again, to play every 3 days, this is something that we like to do, especially the players. Me, I like when we have 1 week, or minimum 4 days before each game. Sorry, but no, listen, how to manage the group, how to stay competitive, how to find tools to have freshness physically, but also mentally. How I can challenge my players once they reach something, try to give them another layer, in terms of what they need to achieve again. And there is all this kind of thing that this is a constant evolution. This is not something fixed. So I've learned how to manage also, players, my sub players, because we played more games than usually. So I needed to have time also to give them time also, because again we start with 11 players, but we finish with most of the time 17 players, I would say, So yes, we've been out of the playoff quickly, but I'm gonna be able to use more tool to challenge my player in to adapt again the way we want to play. So for me, this is a key point. Try to evaluate all the time, because the opposition try to match us.
That's
Me
right.
and my staff have to find a way to be ahead, and that's why I am really excited to start this new season.
How do you innovate on the successes that you've had in your principles and your style of play? How do you innovate on that while remaining true to who you are and the core of what you want this group to perform?
The way I structure the style of play or what we want to do on the pitch, it's every year there is a new objective. The end of the first year was more about the structure but relationship between players. The second year was more about relationship and movements, to put doubt on the opposition. And the third year is going to be about a lot of movements and how we can give the freedom a little bit more to our player to find the solution within what we want to do. So the idea is a bit selfish, because yes, everything is clear about what we want to do, like every coaches, I would say. But for me, the objective is the more I stay with my team, the more I want to step back and let them figure it out. And for me, this is about the growth all the time, the growth mindset, and because I understand what we do now. So now this is more about how they can take more ownership about what we want to do and add different layers. So that's why for me, this is all the time a good challenge for my players, for my staff, and for myself. Because the idea is to be all the time, if I can, ahead of the game. So this is, like I told you, I cannot tell you uh, how long it's going to take to achieve that. It could be 1 month, it could be 2 months, it could be 3 weeks. But the idea is going to be maybe during the session, we're going to do a movement, a collective movement that was not planned. And I'm going to use this movement to create something different. So this is the way I see everything.
Columbus Crew head coach Wilfried Nancy joining us, 2024 MLS Sigi Schmid Coach of the Year. I appreciate the nuance and the sort of inside your mindset, if you will. 50 matches. Is it about having roster construction that is providing you more depth, more options, more players, or is it about getting more out of those other players who aren't necessarily core to the first 11? So is it depth of the roster and the choices, or is it about getting the most or more out of player 12 through 22 on your roster when you're navigating a heavy fixture list? And newsflash, coach, you got a lot of matches again next year too. So how do you balance the two in terms of getting more out of what you have, but also getting more so you can supplement the need?
Mm-hmm. No, to be honest with you, Alan, there is no good or wrong, or good or bad answer, because it all depends about the coach. It all depends about the staff. It all depends. This is something specific. Me, what I like is to have a short roster. So for me, this is about 22 players, and after that, 3 or 4 goalkeepers. And after that, I'm gonna add if I need players from the reserve team or from the academy. This is the idea. So between the first year, last year, and this year, because this is still the same year, we used the same amount of players. So it's around 15 and 16 players who were involved, who did 80% of the game. And after that, the 20% of the rest of the player, this is management, but they know their role. They know that, okay, there is, in the beginning, they are not stupid. They know who's going to play. But after that, I like also to change and to adapt depending who we're going to face in terms of profile. But this is important also that they know that you can play 5 minutes, but 20 minutes or 35 minutes or 90 minutes, but you have to help the team to keep the good performance or to rehearse, the good performance. And for me, this is important. So that's why for me, this is more about I stayed with the same quantity, but I like competition. And what does it mean is that for each position, we have 2 players that I can rotate, that I can change at any moment if I want to do it. And that's why for me, the only way to keep the player engaged is to have competition. So that's why for me, I would say about your question, this is more about the quality of my roster and not the quantity. Because again, what I've learned is the more the roster is big, the more you can have trouble. Yeah, because the
That's
idea
right.
is to involve all the players, and I prefer to be a little bit short, and at least I can involve players instead of having a lot of players and after that they stay on the side. But saying that, we've been also good. I hope I knock the wood. I hope that's going to be the same next year. That the last 2 years, we had an average of 95% of availability. And for me, it's really important because, yes, we work in a certain way, but also the players, they understood that this is their body. They have to take care of their uh, body because this is so important for them. So that's why this is a connection and a chemistry about everything like this.
Coach, you have to set the tone every day in your building on the technical side, and really because of the dynamic leader you are, really in the building at large. You have one MLS Cup. There are other trophies out there that the club is aiming for, and rightfully so. So, how do you stay committed to the hunt and the process of hunting when you've already eaten, so to speak? How do you set that tone every day that, yes, we are one of the crown jewels in Major League Soccer. We have the stars, we have the field, we have the team, we have all the components you need to be successful. So how do you stay hungry even though a lot of people have eaten and done well in Columbus the last couple of years?
No, listen, I'm going to be straightforward with you, Alan, because this is the way I am. I don't focus on the outcome because I cannot control that. What I control is how to become a better me. We discussed about that already. How to
Yes.
become better as a player, but also as a person. And the fact that, again, that with my staff and the people that I work with, I created this safe environment. It's all about challenge. Life, human being
Mm.
loves challenges. If we don't have challenge, this is boring. Simple as that. So the idea is to create this kind of challenge with my players. Because why I don't talk about try to win or try to lose, enfin, avoid to lose, sorry, is because if we don't win, we don't have contract. We don't have club. We don't
Right.
have salary. We don't have money. We don't have nothing.
It's
So
obvious.
we know that, exactly. So we know that we have to compete. So we compete, but with joy. And the fact that we add joy means that we can put our players in an uncomfortable situations. They have to be comfortable first to understand what we want to do. But now, all the time, when they're able to reach the objective, boom, we put another one. When they reach the objective, boom, we put another one. So automatically, we want to become better. I said we because I am involved. Me also. I can learn from a player. I can learn from my staff. I can learn because I'm going to talk about something. We're going to do something. We're going to discuss or we're going to do a session. And suddenly something's going to happen that, wow, this is good. And this is the new objective for this player. Because now he's able to do this, but he's going to be able now, the new objective is going to be to do that.
Mm.
So all the time, our players knows that this is all about the growth. And by being like this, but there is competition.
Mm. That's right.
Competition within the team, but competition with yourself because you want to get better. And if you don't have this mindset, I'm going to challenge you, but one moment, or I'm going to support you, but one moment you're going to have to adapt. And if you're not able to adapt, means that you cannot work for me or for
Mm.
us.
Mm. Mm.
And it's going to be better now to change the cycle and maybe to have another environment.
I'm curious, Wilfried, to follow up on that in your upbringing and the people that mean so much to you. Where does that mindset of sort of self-competitiveness and self-awareness come from? And how are you able to develop that in your players or in a player and that culture environment versus whether or not that player just has the capacity? Is that something that can be identified in the recruitment process? Or is it something that you really have to rely upon your ability, your staff's ability to bring the most out of people in that environment and culture that you've created?
Yeah. No, great question. The most important is to have clarity with our vision, with my vision. And after that is to get the right people to try to process this vision. And for me, there is profile. Without profile, this is impossible to achieve something. If you're asking me to do, I don't know, a content, I don't have the capacity to do it for the moment. I have to learn from that.
Right.
So what we want to do and what we do is we have criteria within the profile of player that we want. So first is effort. Without effort, we cannot do anything for me. And I don't want to waste time by telling my players that you have to make the effort. No. First, if my players is good or he has really good quality, but he's not able to have first effort, we cannot work together. Second is this is audacity. Because the way we want to play, what we want to do, and in life, what I've learned is when
audacious.
you are audacious, you maximize your chance to achieve something. And the third one is your brain, smart, intelligence. Because my games and the style of play and the way I am as a person, but the way also I teach certain things, there is a lot of nuance. So everything took me time to define what type of profile. And it was the most difficult things to do because when I was thinking about it, I said, yeah, Wilfried, it's good to have a vision like every coach is and so on, but how are you going to be able to apply it? But how are you going to simplify your decision making? And that's why for me, by doing that, I was aligned with my values, with my thoughts, and with my action. And for me, it's going to be easier to teach and to help my players and myself and my staff to become better. So that's why for me, this is the most important. And because of those profile, now player knows that we have values. Because I know that I want to win. But like when I like to say that, and I like to ask this question to a new players, what is the definition of success for you? And most of them, they're gonna tell me, yeah, I want to win a trophy. Yeah, me too. But there is only one winner. Only one. So that's it, trophy. Okay, but that's it. And after that, they open up a little bit more. So few players going to be about money because they want to help their family. Few players are going to talk about create memory because they have to get connection with people. Few players are going to say they're going to talk about emotions. So this is personal. So for me, it was important to understand everything, and by understanding everything, I'm not saying that I'm gonna accept everything, but at least I understand where they are and who do we want to become. And this is a day-to-day work. And the idea is to give them the possibility we want to empower them. And what is difficult for me and my staff is to transmit and convince how we're gonna do things. Because we want, as a human being, we want to do things at a certain moment. But now how we want to do it. And sometimes it takes time and we don't have time. So this is all this kind of thing that I try to process. And after that, I try also to understand people. I try to challenge them and to support them. And I believe also that 99% of my player wants to do well.
Coach, one of the things that you and I have talked about is the legacy piece and becoming the first Black coach to win an MLS Cup and the first Black coach to win the MLS Sigi Schmid Coach of the Year award. But that success has come in an amazing time for the Black coach and executive. We just had the sporting director, Julian de Guzman for New York Red Bulls, general manager of LA Galaxy, Will Kuntz, fighting for an MLS Cup championship. Seb Hines with Orlando, NWSL Coach of the Year. Tyrone Marshall just down the road in Cincinnati, the MLS Next Pro Coach of the Year. When you hear all that in aggregate, what does it say to those individuals who have made the most of those opportunities, but then also the importance of creating more opportunities so we can have more of those success stories.
I'm so happy to hear that, and I'm so happy to see that there is an evolution. And after that, I'm gonna be honest with you. This is not enough. So we have to do more. But again, we've been talking about this, and this is about competency, and we all know that the people who can open the door, it's really important for them to not to understand, but to open their eyes and their mind and to see that there is all kind of diversity with competency. To become a coach in MLS, we have to ask permission. The club has to ask permission, to talk to the players. So I understand that. But now, when there is a coach from a second division or a third division, I don't know if we can modify a bit these rules, in terms of maybe the accessibility to open a little bit more the doors.
Good word.
You know what I mean? So
I do.
And I know that I understand why we have to do that, because there is contract and also this is the way it is and so on. But again, I'm not talking about club MLS to MLS. I'm talking about to find more, to have more opening, no possibilities when you're about competency to open a little bit more the doors for everyone. So again, this is something that I've been thinking about, and because again, this is not about quality coaches in terms of diversity. There is all kind of coaches, and all kind of manager, all kind of people who can become CEO. No problem with that. So again, it takes time a bit. We have to be. I can see the evolution, to be honest with you, since I've been here in MLS, So it's been now 10 years. But again, we have to keep pushing.
Lastly here, for the next generation of coaches, how much is it going to be about their resilience and their ambition and their motivation and their drive versus managing the politics and the networking and the advocacy to get these opportunities? Because there's a lot of coaches who are still finding their way, climbing up that hill and that mountain. And I'm just curious if you have one or two things that you believe are going to be the most valuable tools in their toolbox to achieve their goals.
No, listen, this is there is no secrets, Obviously, there is a work behind that. But for me, this is to be patient, because this is my story. I was with the Academy of Montreal in 2010, and 2010, and I went with the first team as an assistant coach in 2015, end of the 2015, if I'm not mistaken. And I became a head coach in 2022. So, and I could have became a head coach before, because I had the opportunity, because my name was coming, And but again, I've been patient. It was not fair at a certain moment. For me, it wasn't fair because I knew that I had the quality to do it. But again, resiliency, this is something that you have to get or try to work, because this is so important in life. When you want to compete with yourself, when you want to stay laid back, no, you don't need resilience. But if we want to achieve something, this is a no-brainer. And I don't think that, people don't have that when they want something. This is more how to deal with when this is not fair. When we know that we can be there and finally we are not here. And so this is keep going. Yes, resilience, but also be patient, and try to have try to be beyond the decision of someone for your life. The objective is to become better, to become a better me, to achieve something that is meaningful for you. Not for you, Alan, not for my wife, not for I don't know who, for myself. And when this is clear, I can embrace adversity. But if one day, oh, I want to do this, or why not doing that, or why not doing this? No. When you get to face adversity, it's going to be difficult. But when this is clear and obvious that you are that you are aligned with really what you want and you can feel it in your soul, this is what I call fulfillment. And for me, this is important to have a meaningful life, because you can be the coach of Columbus Crew now, and you're gonna choose maybe a different lineup because your background, or because I don't know, there is you're gonna be more sensitive or something regarding me. So this is our job. This is about decision making, and that's why for me there is no, again, when this is not dangerous, but there is no bad decision making when you want to achieve something. The idea is something that you feel inside you, because what I've learned is I won, I've been criticized, and I lost, I've been criticized. And at the end of the day, this is our job. Yeah. At the end of the day, people is gonna talk all the time.
I'm not laughing at your pain.
Yeah.
I get it though.
Because at the end of the day, people is gonna talk. So you have to be strong enough to stay focused on your task, and also to embrace adversity, because this is the way it is.
Coach, I tell you what, I try to stay fit. I think I could give you 15 minutes, 5 of which would be quality enough for you and your outfit, I think, at this point, but you got me fired up and ready to go today. And we just appreciate you joining us here on New Ground, just your light and how you're willing to shine that on all of us. And there's so many people that are excited about your success, but more importantly, just how you carry yourself and how much that represents not only the community, but just also the game at large. And I'm just really happy for your success. And I know you guys are hungry to be the last team standing when it's all said and done next year. So thank you again for your time, your insights, your knowledge, and your wisdom behind the scenes. You had a lot of us nodding our head in encouragement and in engagement because of your leadership and your quality. So thank you so much for creating the time. Enjoy the rest of the short off season, and we'll catch up with you down the road.
No, thank you, Alan. And I think that this is important also what you are doing, because again, you do what you love, but you create also a platform to let people express themselves. And I think that this is important also, that you are doing a good job, because you are able also to move and to shake things around. And this is exactly what we want to do. So that's why I accepted to be part of of this interview with you. Okay, so keep going.